Your customer doesn't care about how hard you worked. They care about how your product makes their life easier. What do your customers actually care about? Spoiler alert, it's not your founder's story. They don't want to hear how long it took you to build it, or how hard it was, or how much it means to you. No, they want to know one thing: what's in it for me?
You want to be a young boss, but your sales are stuck. You're burned out trying to find the right people, and you end up doing all of the work yourself. You're bleeding money, and you're fighting to keep your business afloat. I've been there. I'm Isabelle Guarino, and I've scaled businesses to millions, and I've watched ideas burn to the ground. And I know exactly what it takes to survive and win. This is Young Boss, the podcast that helps you break through the barriers standing between you and the business you deserve, where youth is your power.
Seth Godin famously says, don't find customers for your products, find products for your customers. The best founders aren't obsessed with their product, they're obsessed with their customer's outcome. Will this make their life easier, their business stronger, their relationship better, their day-to-day smoother? People don't pay for your process, they pay for their transformation. Today, we're breaking down the 4 pillars every founder must master if they want people to buy. And we're walking through a real life example from one of my own companies, and I'll show you exactly how it works. You know, if you are talking about your product, you're losing the sale. Customers really don't care how much time you spent building it. If it took you, 2 years to create this app, they don't care. They want to know what the app does for them, how it's going to help them, and what's going on. Everyone is tuned in to WIIFM, what's in it for me. So when you're talking about yourself all the time and what you did and what you brought to the table, they do not care. I find this so funny because it happens in so many businesses where people start up, and the reality is, you're proud of what you've done. You've put in a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort. And so you want to share that with the customer. You're so excited about what you're bringing to market, but sometimes you get maybe carried away with it. And Simon Sinek, the author of Start With Why, says people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it and what it does for them. So every time that you are bringing something to, market, it doesn't mean you can't share your story and that no one's going to be interested. A lot of times I focus fully on my product, fully on my service, what's in it for them. And people will ask me, how'd you get into this? Why'd you get into this? And that's the time that you can share that stuff, not up front. That's not the first thing. That's not why they're buying your product. They want to know what's in it for them. Later, you may be able to share those things if they ask you. A lot of companies, they're never going to ask you. They're never going to care why you did something or why you brought it to market. So that story is for you, your friends, and your family. But you need to start thinking about what your customers actually care about. Will this product save them time? Will this product save them more money? Will it reduce their stress? Will it improve how they show up in the world? Those are the things that you want to be marketing, right? The benefits. And we'll go through the 4 things you need to focus on. But when you think about, buying a new product, for example, a golf club, sometimes you'll see clubs that are being marketed with all the specs, right? Okay, this is this little angle and we added this metal and this and that, this thing going on here. Actually, people don't care about that. They want to know, does this golf club make me hit straighter, impress my friends, and help me win games? That's what they want to know, right? So yes, the specs are good and the details are important, but they come at a specific time and angle. That's not what you should be leading with when you're bringing your new club to the market. Founders often lead with story when they should be leading with outcome. Your business exists to solve the customer's problem, not to validate your own story and, solve, your problem in your life. Although that's why many businesses are started. It started that way, but now how's it going to exist? How's it going to become profitable? Because you're solving everyone else's problem, because you're giving everyone else the experience that maybe you wanted or you needed. All right, now that we've killed the founder-focused fluff, let's talk about what actually works, because there is a formula to messaging that really will stick. And this is one that hits people emotionally and logically, and it's called the 4 pillars. And if you're not using all 4, then you're leaving money on the table. Most founders can pitch their ideas, but they can't really pitch the outcome. And so when you're using these 4 pillars, you need to focus on first, the big idea. What are you bringing to market that is fundamentally different, right? There's a million golf clubs, but what about this one is particularly unique? What is different? Why should someone want to buy your product over the 50 other ones that are on the shelf? Why, right? The big idea, what are you bringing out here? The next is the big benefit. This is number 2. So what outcome are they buying? Again, is it going to make me, swing better? Am I going to impress people? And am I going to win more games? What outcome? If you are selling, couples counseling, what outcome? Hey, maybe it's I'm saving you from divorce. Maybe it's I'm finding you, a better love life where you're going to feel more fulfilled. We can use every single product or business and go through these 4 things. But number 3 is the big promise. Why you? Why now? And what transformation are you guaranteeing? I think a lot of businesses, they really have been leaning away from guarantees, and guarantees worked for a long time in marketing and product, deliverance. And I think that it's good to have a guarantee, but it's not always the thing that someone's going to buy for, because I think a lot of us understand that many of them are BS now. So this big promise, what are you promising them, right? If you come to my gym and you work with me as a trainer, are you promising me I'm going to lose 10 pounds? Are you promising me I'm going to be the strongest I've ever been? Am I going to have more energy? Am I going to whatever it is? A lot of those things, you've been let down in the past. So this promise has to be something that makes sense to them here, but makes sense to them here. So it's going to be one of the harder ones to come up with and really make sure that you are speaking the right language to the customer on the other line. And the 4th thing you need to remember is proof. What evidence removes their doubt? A lot of products, you really need to see proof. If you are selling a cookie that's going to, not raise your blood sugar, I want to see proof. I want to see a video of how it's not doing that. If you're selling makeup, right, that's not going to clog my pores and it's going to make my skin look beautiful, then I want to see evidence of that. I want to see a girl who used it for 60 days straight and her pimples look better at the end of the 60 days than they do on day 1. Whatever it is, I want to see proof. So this can come in social media format through videos. It can come through testimonials. I mean, the biggest example that we see of proof is when you have a toothpaste or a floss or something like that, and they say 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this, right? That is one of the biggest proof. If you can have an influencer, you can have someone who's a trusted authority, whether it is a doctor, I don't know how much we trust politicians, but I'm like a politician. It could be somebody bigger that's giving you the proof that, hey, this works and this is why you should do it. If you have people who've lost 100 pounds coming to show their proof at your gym, that's going to be a big deal. So we want to see some proof. And those are the 4 pillars that will address emotion and logic. And really, they become the core of every buying decision. You notice how none of those touched on you and why you started the business and what's in it for you and how, your founder story. None of them. Okay.
Hey, it's Isabelle from Young Boss, and if you have loved getting to hear from our incredible guests on the show, what are you waiting for? Go check out the amazing directory on the youngbosspodcast.com. We've listed all of their information, where you can find them, and more about their business, and so many of them want to connect with other amazing young bosses just like you, or they want to work with you. So go check it out right now, say hi, give them a follow, and make sure that you watch all of our guest episodes because we really have incredible young bosses on this show. And if you're looking to get on the show too, then make sure you leave us a comment so that we can connect with you as well. Check out the show notes for that directory or head to theyoungbosspodcast.com. Now, back to the show.
Now, theory is great, but what does this actually look like in the wild? Let's break it down with a real world example. I've given you a couple, but I created a brand new business over the last couple of months, Good Nanny. And I could tell you our founder story and why we did this, but let's be real. That's not going to convince you if you need a nanny to come work with me. So this is how we built our pitch around the customer being the one we want to focus on from the ground up. We used all 4 pillars. So here they are. Number 1, the big idea. We are Arizona's newest elite nanny agency. We're building lasting family partnerships. I think that's pretty cool. When you're bringing a nanny into your family, there's a lot of insecurity and, concern of who's going to be in my home. Can I trust them? So family partnerships is super important. And we're using the strategic word elite because we're not going after, someone who just needs a babysitter on a Friday night. We're going after someone who's looking for a full-time, incredible nanny who's elite, who's top top tier who's high level, because this is a high cost for many families. And in our current world, a lot of people can't afford a full-time nanny. So I wanted to make it even more strategic by using those words. Now, the big benefit, this is support beyond childcare. Your nanny is going to help with errands, meal prep, cleaning, laundry. Ooh, that is a huge benefit. In dual income households where you've got two people, mom and dad, working, they come home and maybe they had the nanny all day, but now they still have to cook dinner and they still have to do the laundry and they still have to clean up. And oh my gosh, it's a second shift. Okay. When you have that nanny who not only is doing the childcare, but they're giving you more, they're helping you out with all these things. So you get to come home and be the Disneyland dad or mom. That's what I like to call it, right? You get to focus on the fun. When I walk in every day and my dinner is prepared and me and my kid just get to sit down and enjoy that and spend that quality time together, it allows me to be a better mother. And so this is support beyond childcare. And so that's the big benefit that we can share with families. Now, the big promise. I'm promising that hiring a good nanny is going to create a more peaceful, present home where you can have a stronger family life because you're not focused on all those other things. And we have the proof, number 4, because I've got 10 happy families who we've worked with tangible improvements in their sleep, in their relationships, and in their home life. And here's the reviews you can read. Here's the video testimonials you can see. So that is how you kind of pull together the way you want to market something. It said nothing about, myself, what I'm doing, why I started this. And when you have all 4 of those pillars, now you know how you need to pitch this in the marketplace, what your social media ads and posts should be looking like, sounding like, feeling like. You always need to be addressing those things. So you've got the framework and you've seen it in action, but here is the key. This can't just live in your pitch deck or on a sales call. The best businesses embed these pillars everywhere. Like I said, their Instagram captions, their email subject lines, even their job postings. So let's talk about how to make a customer-first messaging your default setting. Like I said, most people are building their pitch deck once or even their 30-second, elevator pitch, and then they never use it again. And that's the problem. Your pitch isn't just for investor decks or for that one, quick moment with someone who may be investing in you. It's for every ad, every caption, every video, and your homepage, things that are going to live forever. Great marketing works subconsciously, like the dentist and the toothpaste ad. It's subconsciously giving you trust that this is going to work, that someone with higher authority and trustworthiness level is approving of this. So each pillar should rotate through your marketing to build trust even without trying. It's very subconscious. You're not saying, this is our big promise. No. When you rewire your messaging to speak to what your customer actually wants, everything changes. You get faster sales, you get deeper trust, and a brand that spreads without shouting. Let's bring this all together and leave you with one final challenge that could transform how you show up in your business tomorrow, okay? Audit your marketing right now. Pull up your homepage, pull up your website, your Instagram bio, your sales pitch, and ask yourself, is this about me or is it about them? Am I explaining what I do or am I explaining what they get? Have I clearly nailed the big idea, the big benefit, the big promise, and the proof? Or am I just rambling off features and effort? If it reads like a personal journal, rewrite it like a promise. Make the customer the hero of the story and watch what happens. If you want to win in business, stop telling people what you built and the effort you put into it. Just stop talking about yourself and start showing them how their life will get better because they used your product, they bought your service, they came to your facility. The more you center your customer emotionally, logically, and practically, the faster your brand will grow. Customer first, customer always, customer to the end. Thanks for listening to another episode of Young Boss. Be sure to like, share, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And remember, youth is your power.